It's not about me telling you, oh, that you got to go down this road instead of that road. It's about assisting that person in front of me in the energy that they're sitting in, and for them to understand themselves better and move energetically forward with a sense of empowerment, a sense of clarity, a sense of understanding how they are sitting, and if they need to make adjustments anywhere for themselves.
Welcome to the You and You podcast, hosted by me, Sanjiv Sangha. If you enjoy this episode, please hit the like button. It really does help, and I'm very grateful for your support. In this podcast, we explore a new word or phrase in each episode and how it's impacted my life or the life of my guest and the journey that we've taken on with it. The hope is to offer you some insight or some inspiration to help you navigate your way through it. So let's jump into today's phrase, which is new beginnings, since we're at the beginning of the new year. I'd like to welcome my guest, Susana Estella, who is an amazing friend and also a psychic medium and a shamanic practitioner. We met a few years ago, and we've been on quite a journey in the last 3 years, I think, it's coming to now.
I know, time goes so fast. Thank you for having me.
How would you like to describe yourself today?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think if you'd asked me this question a few years ago, I would have, said my name, my day job, and that's it. But I think when I was discussing things with my friends, I think part of who I am is that, yes, my name is Susana Estella, and I am a psychic medium and a shamanic practitioner. And I think this is not just a job, it's something I do, but it's a vocation, it's a calling for me, and I feel very blessed to have found my calling. So that's who I am, I think, in how I want to be and what I want to do.
That's interesting, because previously, because identity and how we identify ourselves, and I've talked about this in a previous episode, and I was always labeling myself with, I'm an architect, but actually I didn't really want to be known as that. I wanted to be known as the dragon boater.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting that you're kind of like, you're saying that you've moved away from whatever you do at work in your full-time career path.
Yes.
That you've now gone into...
I've stepped into it. I've stepped into my identity, because I was very shy, and I guess from my sort of cultural upbringing, which was quite religious, so saying something like that, I was just like, my family would be so against this. But at the same time, I've just accepted and embraced that part of my identity, that this is something that I do. And even I was having a conversation with one client and a friend, I should say, as well. And she was saying, it's like they say in terms of shamanic work, Shakaruna, the bridge woman. And I guess that's a really good title, because it is bridge. It's all about bridges, from the unseen world to bring it into your reality, or whatever messages need to come through, and all that type of work.
Well, it's assisting people, isn't it?
100%.
And through whatever they might be navigating as well. Because people come to you, I guess, when they're in distress.
When they're in distress, and sometimes it's always good for people that come to me, I just want an energetic check-in. Yeah. It's one of the things that I say to clients, like we sometimes we go to the dentist, not because we have a problem or because we know we need to have a filling, but we just need to check that everything is in order, and how we are sitting in our energy, how we're making our decisions. It's all in the right alignment for them as well. So you may come to me when you are having a crisis in your life, or a crossroads where you think, oh God, I'll go and see a psychic, kind of thing. But it's not about me telling you, that you got to go down this road instead of that road. It's about assisting that person in front of me in the energy that they're sitting in, and for them to understand themselves better and move energetically forward with a sense of empowerment, a sense of clarity, a sense of understanding how they are sitting, and if they need to make adjustments anywhere for themselves. That's how I would present my work.
Would you, 10 years ago, recognise yourself today in who you are?
Again, I think the answer would be no, because, my God, if I think of who I was 10 years ago, I don't even recognise that person, to be honest. I don't even, in some respects, identify to some level with who that person is. I feel that person 10 years ago was making choices because of what they thought they needed to do, or what logically makes sense, rather than tuning into how they were feeling and responding to that feeling within themselves. And I think now I've got to a point that even though I don't know what the next 10 years are going to bring for myself, shock, horror, I know it's a sign, but it's true because, and like I said, I think I am somebody who, you know, in terms of faith, I do have a faith. I think, yes, I do tap into energy, but, you know, nothing is ever really set in stone. So how I approach the next 10 years of my life, it will be in a completely different way, hopefully less fear-based and more with trying to be authentic and being who I am and honouring those parts of myself. Whereas before it was more people-pleasing, accommodating, sticking to the status quo, sticking to what perhaps family or my circle would perhaps want from me.
Yeah, because that's quite an interesting way to circle into what I was going to ask you, because you kind of wanted to be on this podcast and you wanted to talk about kind of like, you know, moving through quite a different situation. And, 100%. You know, in the new year, a lot of people talk about leaving partners because they've had like an explosive Christmas, a new year, and then
Sounds
they're like
Christmas,
can't do it.
EastEnders.
Yes, it is EastEnders, isn't it?
It's true.
You were in a relationship 10 years ago, a really solid one, and you were married, I think, maybe even then. So, and you chose to leave it.
Yes.
So how did you know it was time to leave, and what did it teach you about yourself?
Oh my God, that is such an interesting question. And that's what I mean. My life has changed so much. And I have no regrets in being married at all. I think it was great. It was with a really good person. It was the right person for me at that time. And that relationship taught me a lot of things, perhaps things about like love, what a relationship should be like. It is a very good, I would say, you know, how to communicate and conduct yourself in a relationship with all those things. But I suppose it got to a point where I realised that I was not losing part of myself, and it had nothing to do with him. It was just me recognising that I was evolving. And because I was evolving, I was almost like the Alice in Wonderland house. The arms, everything started to feel a lot smaller, it just didn't fit in anymore of how I wanted to live my life and be authentic. And I started questioning myself a lot. Yeah. And I suppose I was thinking, well, what can I do to work through this, to sort of understand why am I feeling this lack when I pretty much have everything? You know, I've got the house, I've got the marriage, I've got the good job, whatever I want next, I suppose. But then I realised, I thought, this isn't nourishing me. I'm feeling lack and I shouldn't. So that's when I thought, oh, well, I better look inwards and examine myself before blaming the marriage or the partner, or you're not doing this or whatever.
That's quite mature, because not many people would necessarily do that, would they?
I think so. And I think it's probably because my parents were divorced. I sort of saw that maybe outline of what not to do.
Yeah.
And I thought, I want to tackle this differently. I'd want to approach it in a different way.
Oh,
It wasn't something that divorce is the solution. It was almost like, well, I don't want to do that, so let me try to avoid that. Let me work on myself more and see if I can bring more things in to make it work.
Because I think that's where your journey started, wasn't it? It was doing the self-development.
100%.
And lots of courses. Do you want to, like, kind of what drew you towards, like, the spirituality and the self-development? How did this start then?
Well, this is it. This is what's so weird, because it wasn't like, oh, you know what, I need to work on myself. It was more like, it was more simple than that. It was more of a case of like, well, is my life literally going to work, coming home, going to work, going home, going to work, going to see my mum, going to see my mother-in-law, going home? It just felt very repetitive and very mundane. I thought, you know what, I need to bring enjoyment into my life. So what do I like? I sort of started reflecting back of things that I'd put to bed that I thought, oh, well, it's too late for that, or there's no point in doing that. So I thought, well, I love the theatre, I love acting, I love being creative, I love singing.
Yeah.
So then I thought, oh, I know, I'll do an acting course.
That's pretty cool.
It was a good starting point, because I think it drew me out of my shell. It got, it brought the creativity out of me. And I did that for a while. And then I thought, oh, I'm really glad I'd done that. don't think I want to change my job and be an actress, but it
That's
was
a tough grind, that is.
it is. And if I recognised in that process that was my passion, I think the type of person I am, I would have gone for it.
Yeah.
I would have 100% gone for it.
You would have nailed it as well.
Oh, thanks, mate. But at the same time, it was just like, okay, I've done that. So what else can I do? I've recognised that I was maybe a hobby or something to do was giving me joy, and giving me that light again that was sort of slowly being put out. It's like my mother even noticed, saying it just feels like a gas lamp. Your flame is sort of diminishing. And I thought, so that those were conversations. So then I did the acting, and then I walked past a bookshop, and in the bookshop it was like, a tarot course is available. And I thought, oh, well, that's something to do next Thursday. And I booked in, and I wasn't necessarily drawn to the tarot per se. I found the imagery of the tarot really like insightful, very intriguing. Like, I love the esoteric.
It is, isn't it?
It's very deep. There's a lot of symbolism in. What does this mean? What does this? Oh my God, it's so connected. And again, it wasn't something that my family were into, because my family are not into going to visit a psychic or doing the tarot cards.
They're quite anti that, isn't it?
Quite anti that. Not against it in that they have belief in this world, but it's like, just take a step back. Don't,
A lot of people are like that.
Yeah, and that's fine. I completely understand that.
I think there is a shift, though.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely in the collective energy, people are more open now to spirituality, if we want to give it a label, and the different dimensions or types of therapies that are available.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought I'd do the tarot course and see how it went on. And I was really enjoying the course. I wouldn't say it was like, oh, I love this as well. So that was a good sort of process. But in the course, oh my God, I remember that my teacher, Sue Merlin Fairbrother, she's really good. She's an astrologer. And she said to me, all right, cards down, everyone. We're going to do another exercise. And it's about, we're just going to meditate, and then you're going to turn to the person next to you and you're going to describe their house. And I was a bit like, yeah, right. Kind of. That was literally the biggest eye roll, and thinking, I just want to leave now. Like, can we just go?
Yeah.
But anyway, I threw myself into the task, and I thought, well, she just said, just say what you think and feel. So I was like, okay. And then I started describing various things. I started giving very specific details. I even said at one point, God, this carpet's so bouncy. I thought, what the hell's wrong with me? Is my imagination playing tricks on me? And anyway, when she, after she said, talk to your partner, see what they said, she was like, Susana, like everything is spot on. And I was like, shut up. Like, miss, like what's going on, kind of thing. And
it would freak you out as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It was really like unnerving, because she said, I only put new carpet in last week, and I thought to myself this morning, wow, this carpet is really bouncy today. So it was a bit surreal, some of the details that I was coming out with. The accuracy is what she said to me. And my teacher overheard, and afterwards she said, Susanna, I really think you should consider going to the College of Psychic Studies. And I was like, again, another, please. Like, I've got to think of another course to do, let alone this. But she planted the seed, right? And I was looking on the College of Psychic Studies, the website at the time, and I felt so overwhelmed with all the courses I was seeing. I thought, nah, this is not for me, I'm sorry. But
there's quite a lot on there.
There is a lot on there. And I thought, where am I going here? Why has she asked me to do this? And
I think when people see something, you kind of have to go with it as well. Like, I think that's what's happened with me as well in the past.
Exactly. It took time. It took time for me to understand that. But there was a course that I saw called An Introduction to Intuition. I thought, all right, I can get on board with this. Yeah. Everyone has an intuition. It would be nice to know more about that.
Yeah.
So I booked myself into the course. And then, again, I did the course, and my mentor, Gary Wright, really, really good teacher, still there now. He's amazing. He on the fourth, I could only go there for 4 lessons instead of the 5. So on the last day, I thought, I better tell Gary I can't go in next week. And then he goes, Susanna, I've been meaning to speak to you. It was like, okay. He's right in the corridor. He grabbed me and sort of like, quickly. I'm not taking anyone in the class you've been attending to my private circle, but I'm only choosing you. I want you to book yourself in for Psychic Development Foundation. I'm like, but Gary, I've got pottery. Like, I can't. Like, you know, I've committed to another thing. And then he was
Did
like,
the mug still work?
What?
Your pottery mug.
More about that later. But anyway, it was it was a moment where he was like, don't be silly, go and book yourself into the course. And then I remember standing in the queue to pay for this course that I didn't think I was going to take because I had pottery, which never happened.
Okay.
but I remember thinking, well, it's either I do this and I see where it takes me, or I say thanks but no thanks and then do pottery.
I can't imagine you doing pottery with your nails. They're too good.
Not. It's just not going to happen. But that was it. And then I guess from doing psychic like it was a private circle handpicked by Gary. Obviously, people go and see what the college is about, and you know, was selected in that manner.
Yeah.
But which was really, again, was it coincidence? Everything, it's all divine timing. Like the fact that I couldn't go to the last lesson, if he hadn't have told me, I might have missed him telling me to book in. It's all these things, all these synchronicities, all these moments, these alignments that have happened, that if I look back, it all began with me deciding to take an acting course one day. So
it is. I think you've had quite a challenging year in this year.
Yes.
There's been a lot of loss, personal and professional. Mm-hmm. And one of those people, well, two of those people were Finn and Jamie, and 100%. They ran the Wellness Foundry. I'd met both of them a few times. Yeah. But then it transpired that you were working for them when we first met. Yes. It was quite amazing. Now, I think there's two parts to this question. One, like, how do you think all this like loss that you've had, how has that shaped your spiritual, you know, kind of approach to the work?
100%.
And then, like, tell me a little bit about meeting Finn and your time with the Wellness Foundry, and how did that chapter shape you?
Oh my God! Well, again, that's another crazy story, and which is why I say it's all about divine time and synchronicity. So I met Fingal as a client. Yeah. Before I was even involved in this world or working in this world. So I went to see him for a reading.
Oh, really? So like me then, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, like you. So I went there, and I just remember I was at work that morning, and I thought, I really need a reading because of everything that was going on at home. And I then sort of started then thinking maybe I need some more spiritual guidance.
Did you come here when he was at
No. I went to when he was in Clapham. I went to his space in Clapham. And what was quite interesting was I looked at the website, and it was quick because I was at work. I thought, I'm going to finish soon. I want to make sure I can get book something before I head home. So then I came across his website, and then I noticed that he said, was a student at the college. And I thought, oh, okay, that's good, because I'd only just started myself. So I thought, that's nice to see someone from the college doing their own thing. So it
connection.
Yeah. And I didn't even see it as like, a connection to the college. I just thought like supporting a fellow student who's pursuing their dream, their calling. Yeah, that's the reason why I chose to go there. And I had a nice feeling about, like when I saw the picture, I thought, okay, I feel like I can resonate with this person.
A bit of a cheeky face, isn't
100%.
it?
100%. It was a beautiful face, and he was such a lovely guy. And anyway, I went there, and he we had a really good reading, and I really, got on well with him. And then a couple of weeks later, not even a couple of months later, I bumped into him in the college, and he gave me such a beautiful hug. I think I really needed that hug in that moment, which was quite, I said, Fingal, and he gave me a hug, and it was like, it's really nice to see you. Anyway, time transpires, and eventually, as how the courses go, we end up in the same class together, because I think he was a class or two above me, and then I sort of caught up.
Yeah.
So
because you do them multiple times, don't you?
You do. Yeah. You do repeat. You don't just do foundation, intermediate, advanced. You may have to repeat the classes a couple of times, because you're building a muscle. You're learning to read an intuitive language. You're learning to read energy, and that just doesn't happen straight away. It takes years. It takes practice and the right guidance, because we're leaning into something else now, but it's how you deliver the message is so important as well.
Yeah.
There's a way of delivering a good psychic message.
The skills,
exactly, and that's what you develop and strengthen in that time in the college, and then I was in class, and we had a reading together, like as students together. We were like students for a long time, And then I remember saying, God, Fingal, you've been on my mind. And he goes, really? Really?
That's how he would say it.
Yeah. And then he's drawing away because he's very artistic, very creative as well. So the drawing sort of helped him with his psychic ability. He used to do psychic artwork. Anyway, we had the class and everything. And then I received a call from him, or he called me. I can't remember how now. And then he offered me a job at the Wellness Foundry. And that was my sort of real first job as a professional psychic medium.
Wow. And that's quite a dive in, isn't it? Because he was doing quite well.
Yeah, he was doing very well. And obviously he was doing so well that he needed more people on his team.
Yeah.
So I feel really grateful and blessed that I was the second person he'd hired.
Yeah.
And that was a real, honestly, I'm so grateful that he gave me that opportunity, because it, again, divine timing, everything, it helped me to develop this work as a professional psychic medium. And it just gave me strength. And I don't know where I would be without that opportunity. He saw something in me again that I didn't recognize within myself.
It does happen like that. Yeah. It's that belief that he had in you, because he was quite a character.
Yeah, he was great.
And I have to say, he gave me some of the most shittiest readings ever. Seriously really? Bad. Yeah. But, and really bad, to the point where it was, you're going to be all right though, you will be, I promise.
It
might not be this year. You're like, oh my God, can this get any worse? Yeah. And then sometimes, well, it's going to sound like last year.
Oh no.
But it's a bit better. Yes. Things have improved.
But a lot of his advice gave me, at that moment before it all kicked off. And I think one of his readings really helped me reframe, recenter things in my mind in terms of my approach, not on my situation, on myself. And I think a lot of people get some readings or psychic readings very confused. They call it fortune telling. It's I'm not here to tell your fortune. He was here to tell me more about myself, to understand my inner workings and my energy, and how, I needed to toughen up on certain things and to understand that, and obviously showed it through, metaphors, symbolism, things, language I could resonate with. Yeah. So when he just was describing something about how my approach was, or how I was feeling, or how I needed to sort of execute something that I want, it was so spot on and accurate, in the sense that if you want to do this, you need to act in this way, or the energy's this, and I could digest that. Yeah. It was not giving me of what I need to do. It was more, if you want to do the things that you're wanting to do, the energy that you're needing to find within yourself is X, Y, Z.
So with the grief of the close family member, with
oh my God,
Fingal and Jamie, and it happened within a matter of weeks.
Great.
How has that changed your perspective on the spirituality and your connection? Because I don't know if you've had that. I don't know, but personally, I don't think you've had that kind of intense loss previously, where it was such a close period and you had a lot to deal with within that.
Well, it's funny, this year for me has really been about grief and losing people. I lost my grandfather, not funnily enough, but at the end of April.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's I'm glad he lived the long life that he did, and it was the right time for him to go. But again, I don't have a huge family, so he was almost like a father figure to me in some respects as well. He was very, he was the dominant male role in my life, and then I was dealing with the funeral arrangements. Fingal and Jamie sent me flowers, so that was again shows how caring they were as people, really great people. And then when I heard that they passed away,
it was shocking.
In the way that they passed away. I'm getting goosebumps now.
It was awful when I read it. I thought someone was playing a trick on me when I saw their faces.
I just couldn't believe it. I thought it was so surreal, something out of a film. I just couldn't comprehend what was going on. Yeah. And it was, I just really, like I said, I really feel like they were my colleagues, they were my classmates, but they were also, I feel, making the work that we do accessible, putting it on the mainstream, making it also, a lot. Yeah, a lot.
They were making big waves. They were on This Morning, they were on BBC, they were
good at what they did, and they were so personable, and they were lovely people. And I think it's also taken
away. Light.
They were light, exactly, taking away the stigma of like the woman dressed in black with a handkerchief at the end of the pier, you know, heavy. Oh, should I be scared? Though actually, no. It's work that can actually help you discover more about yourself if approached in the correct manner with the correct people in front of you. And with that, with their loss in the tragic way, like I feel like. I don't even have words, and I've had to process it in my own way. I've had to really understand, and I really feel what I've learned this year. In life is so precious. Life is but a second. So they were young as well, so it was my age, and to think like you've got to live life in every moment, and they were living life in their moments. They shone really brightly, and that's what I think. That's my takeaway. It's like they took a chance. Fingal took a chance on his business, on what he wanted to do, and he made it to some degree. Yeah. And you know, he was putting his passions, his desires, his goals, his dreams, not as a dream, like this dream, I want this as a reality.
He was making it a reality. Yeah.
He was making it a reality.
And because some of my conversations with him, they were a little bit about what he was doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it was about achieving those little milestones steadily and progressively.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I think the lessons that I've learned from him and my experience at the Wellness Foundry, and it's just, you got to trust in your ability and believe in yourself, and work with your God, I was going to say something so woo-woo, with inner light, but it is your inner light, it is your inner guidance, it is your inner trust. Work with your intuition. Exactly, work with your intuition. And he did that, and he not forced me, that's not the word, but pushed me to like, do you want this opportunity? And I had to be brave and have courage, and said yes. And then I did it. And in terms of spirituality and development, I think it's those things. It's about having trust in what you are doing, trusting yourself, and learning to align with yourself with the things that you want to do, not conform. I'm very, not conform with what you think you should be doing, or they're doing this, or like they, are comparing yourself. Your journey is your journey, and it's going to
it can be completely random.
It can be random, but who's to say that's right or wrong? As long as it feels right for you, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about you at the end of the day.
Well, I fought mine quite a bit. You and you. I fought mine a bit.
So that's the thing, isn't it? It's just really about sticking to who you are and being authentic. And I'm not a conformist anyway, so a bit.
I think that's probably why we get on.
And that took a lot of work. That's something I probably was more conformist 10 years ago, to going back to your first question. I think now I'm more not trying to be anti-conformist, but just doing what feels right to me without the worry of anyone or anything.
Yeah, shedding other people's opinions 100%. Of you. Yeah, that's quite... Yeah. That's something that I really wish I'd learnt a lot younger than the age that I did.
That's your journey, that's your process. There's nothing wrong as long as you've learnt the lesson, because what I tell myself and clients is once you're aware, 50% of the job is done. The other 50% is you implementing that.
Yeah, it's the implementation and like kind of having to process like, is that their shit or is that my shit?
Exactly.
And that's what I'm constantly doing. Yeah. I was interviewing someone and I was like, no. And I was like, you cannot say that. You've got to own you.
Yes, 100%.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Because like you've obviously you're on the medium journey, and you were working for Fingal. Yeah. Then what did it mean to start your shamanic training? Because that's quite different, but not different. But
yes, it's different. It's great because I'd learnt these skills of being a psychic medium, and then I thought to myself, again, this is knowing who I am. There's something more to do, right, Susana? I felt like I needed to, not because I just felt I needed to learn more about myself in a different way.
Yeah.
And also shamanism, I mean, it's very linked to like South American culture. Like I'm half Spanish, so it's not completely foreign to me. I've, mixed with a lot of South American people. So it was a way of sort of understanding that as well and working in a different way. And I felt out of other courses that I was looking at, that this was the one that really resonated with me, because it's earthier, it's grounded. I'm a very practical person in my nature, but it is about working with the shadow and the undercurrent of things and the things that we don't say, and everything that we do and everything how we are born. Sometimes there are genetic threads or ancestral threads that have been passed over to us.
Yeah. Well, that's proven. That's scientific fact.
It's proven. And it's almost the things that we do are the things that we taught from our parents, who've taught our parents, their parents, and it goes back and back and back. And I think
it's also the trauma that's carried in the DNA.
100%, it's trauma. Why are we doing this? Or why do we think in this particular way as this family? Why does this family do these things? Why does other families do different things? You know, and it's that inner conflict that I think, this isn't mine. This isn't a choice. Everything's about choice, and I'm choosing to break away from that. And I think lots of people, if they step into the shamanic work, it's a lot about understanding what is authentically you, and what has been passed on down to you that you've been told to carry on because of the lineage. And I think this breaks a lot of stigmas. This can also disrupt a lot, and it's going to be a very hard journey for somebody who decides to be the chain breaker in their family and to do things differently.
Yeah, because obviously you came from quite a religious background as well, and this would be completely kind of almost, no, not quite into that.
Yeah.
I find that you say like it's South American. For me, I could see elements of ritual with that were Indian.
Yeah, exactly. It's real. I think it's a practice that really connects with the earth and with nature.
Definitely.
And the planet that we're on, and really understanding that there are things that are in the unseen, and just because we don't see them doesn't mean that they don't exist. If we're going to use faith, for example, I'm someone who has a lot of faith, you know, and I believe in God, but you don't see a God. Where's the evidence of that, if we're going to say? But it's not. So there's so many layers to God, to the divine, to these practices that we're all connected with. And before people had the acknowledgement of God, there's rituals and things there where they understood that there is an energy out there that connects us all.
How does your work as a medium and also your shamanic training and the work that you do there reflect in your relationship with yourself today?
That's a really good question. I mean, with psychic mediumship, sometimes you have to learn to switch it on and off in that respect, because it's so much energy work. You're reading the energy of the room, you're reading the energy all the time, that you do learn to control that and to open yourself up in the correct environment. I think that's something that perhaps before, when I'd get onto a packed train or go and visit maybe family members and think, God, what's going on in this room, kind of thing. Things feel tense. But it's understanding that energy and not picking it up and not letting it stick to you as well. And I think the psychic medium work, to some degree, has definitely helped sort of shut things off. Okay, as you saying, this isn't mine, this is what's going on in the room, and I'm understanding it. It's got nothing to do with me. Whereas the person I want to help or feel responsible or try to make it better, sometimes it's better to leave it as it is in certain moments. And with the shamanic work, I think it's really understanding energy and cords and attachments and link, and understanding that we all are linked in some way. And sometimes we attach ourselves to things that don't really serve us, that can cause perhaps mental anguish, you know, anxiety, all these things. It's all energy work. And I think doing the shamanic work has made me understand that everything is connected, and there's sometimes that we need to disconnect from things and connect back to ourselves, and connecting back to ourselves and calling our energy back from other people, jobs, opportunities, memories, to make us feel whole again is really important. I think that is, if we understand that we can help ourselves feel better by understanding that everything has an energetic vibrational
I've
level.
had some really great shifts by doing all that work.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I really love doing with people.
It's about vibration. You have to elevate the vibration of the situation, and you have to do that for yourself. The minute you elevate your own vibration within how you perceive a situation, or you want to change that situation, everything then changes around you. It causes a ripple effect. I think that's what the shamanic work has taught me in that respect.
It's quite deep work.
100%.
it's what I find quite interesting about the shamanic work is, especially the way we were taught it, there was so much stuff about that was in modern day psychology that people are using throughout.
Yes.
And you're like, that's taken from the shamanic world, but there's no way you would actually say that.
Well, I don't want to...
You're having a moment.
I'm having a moment because there's a book that's come out recently by a Dr. something. I don't want to say names, but when I was hearing this particular doctor talk on various podcasts and things like that, I was thinking, hang on a minute. I think what you are talking about is psychic mediumship. I think what you're trying to talk about is energy, but you're using very scientific words to
confuse people.
Not even confuse people. I'm not saying that there may not be a science involved in this type of work that I'm doing. And if they want to use my brain for science when I pass over, absolutely. See, why am I reading people the way they read it? But I suppose that this particular, when I was listening to that person's rationale on the things that they were receiving, it was psychic mediumship.
Yeah.
And they were using words to say, well, actually, the science behind this, X, Y, Z, it's like, and it's almost they wouldn't even consider the world I work in, for example, as like, oh, it's not this, but it's now this because I've done my science and I've studied it in this particular manner, and the people I've spoken to are doctors and they also confirm. So it felt like dismissing the work that us psychic mediums do is like, oh, it's not this, but it's this, when in actual fact it was the same thing. It felt like what you're saying, if you'd gone to the College of Psychic Studies, for example, on a talk, on a workshop, that information's already there, it's already present.
It's not
brand new. So
yeah, they're just giving it new terminology.
100% to make it more accessible, which is good, and I encourage that.
Yeah.
But I think people need to know there's a lot of...
It's a crossover.
It's a
There's
crossover.
A lot of crossover.
Yeah.
Because I'm sometimes like, yeah, okay, you carry on.
Yeah.
So, like, because you left your marriage, which, and he was a lovely guy and you
100%.
got on, but you chose to choose yourself, and because something wasn't working for you within that. What have you learned about standing on your own 2 feet? Because you were quite young when you got into that relationship, and then you kind of been quite fiercely independent since.
I think I've always been a fiercely independent person, even in the relationship I was in before.
Yeah.
And I think that was I was always, I think this, always start as who you are in any relationship as much as you can. Obviously, there's things, we will accommodate and make compromises. But I think that was always there. So it wasn't a case of me shrinking myself in that respect.
Yeah.
But with you
can't shrink you anymore.
No. Exactly. I'm small enough. Exactly. I'm small enough. But in terms of being fiercely independent and sort of coming out of that marriage in my early 30s, it's and standing on my own 2 feet, again, it required a lot of faith in that this was the right decision for me.
Yeah.
And trusting, and why I wanted to really establish that when I made this decision, it was for me. It wasn't, I don't like the idea of, I regret, and sometimes there can be a lot of back and forth. I know it's a process, but once I made that decision, I'm all in, and I'm going at this on my own, come what may. And I'm happy that I've done that, because it's actually allowed my life in some respects, as I felt intuitively, to expand. Like I can't believe that I have my own business, that I'm doing these things, that I'm making a podcast, that I've, read for people that I didn't think I'd ever come in contact with.
Yeah.
And
you've done it in some quite intriguing places as well.
Exactly. It's opened up various doors and opportunities and experiences that I never thought would actually happen.
Yeah, it's very different.
So it's very different. And that's because when I sort of sat down with myself, listened to myself of what I wanted, and again, I had no idea that this was the world I was stepping into when I left that marriage, but it was sort of having that trust and ability that what I was seeking, what I was going for, the change that I wanted to bring into my life would literally on the other side of the door if I was brave enough to take this step.
Yeah, because you're really putting yourself first, which is important, I think, for everybody to put themselves, and you can do that in a really kind way. You don't. It's not like being aggressive or abusive towards anyone.
I'm not someone that I don't like conflict anyway, and I'd rather avoid it. Don't get me wrong. There's a time and a place for it, but it wasn't about that. It was just about going forward for myself and what I wanted to do, and to be brave for myself, and not to. I'm not someone who has a lot of regrets. I make sure I think it through, feel it through, and go.
So how do you view relationships differently today?
That's an interesting one, because then when you leave a marriage or a long-term relationship, and then you're back in the dating pool, and you think, God. But
let's not talk about the dating pool.
No, but it's to be honest, again, I think it's about trying to understand yourself as much as, understand who you are.
Yeah.
And I guess how I view relationships, like I said, I had a very good blueprint of how a relationship can be, a loving relationship could be.
Yeah.
And I guess it's not compromising on certain things, but also making sure that when you are choosing to be with someone, whether that be long-term, casual, whatever it is, again, it's making sure that you are conscious of the choices you are making. And it's no one else's fault but your own if it works out, if it doesn't work out. And sometimes just having a bit of trust in what you're going through, and knowing that everything is teaching you something. And sometimes you're going to have great experiences, sometimes you're going to have a bit meh sort of experiences.
It's all a bit of a learning curve at times.
But it's a learning curve. But don't see it as like a negative. Just actually, the more you put in for yourself, you can sort of navigate any wave that comes in, and you understand, all right, this is what I'm wanting, or I didn't realise I wanted that, and now I do. And actually, what have I, why am I choosing this particular type of person, for example? I need to change the script. And it all falls back to you, getting back to your energy, pulling that sense of empowerment within.
Sometimes it's just having a bit of fun with someone with cowboy boots on.
100%, and that's what you need, and you need to recognise that. Sometimes life is not about, oh, now I'm out of one relationship, I need to find the next one. Not at all. And there might be a moment, maybe I might never marry again, or might never be with someone long-term again. It's not that I don't want that, but at the same time, I am happy within myself. And I'm doing things that I want to be doing, and I'm growing my business in the way I want to be doing it. And again, it's all choice. I could do this business for the next 5 years, next 5 months, next 10 years. And if I'm not feeling it, then that's it. On to the next thing.
But it's also, I suppose it's the experience of, you've learned so much within
100%.
Putting a business together, whether it's the taxes,
oh my God,
the marketing.
I can't even believe I have a website. Me, I can't even, I'm struggling with my Instagram account, let alone anything else. Yeah.
Can we love deeply and still choose ourselves first?
That is a good question. I think so. I think that is a skill. I think that's a muscle, because I do believe I am somebody.
It's all about the muscles.
Yeah, it is.
You're all about the muscles as well.
Where's my weight going? But I do think I'm somebody who loves very deeply, and when I'm there, it's all the way.
Yeah.
And I think that's so I think that's what made leaving the marriage so hard, because there was still love there. There wasn't, there was still love there. It wasn't the case, it was hard. Yeah. But then I recognised and I realised that staying in a place where I wasn't going to grow and flourish, and neither was that person, me being there.
Yeah.
And that person was going to, therefore, perhaps not complete their dreams, etc. It wasn't helping us at all.
Yeah.
And
you end up holding each other back, don't you?
Exactly. And that's when resentment can brew, and that's when blame, and that's when affairs start, and it all leaks and seeps into other thing. Whereas I just wanted to manage what I could manage and walk away. And I think you can love someone deeply and still walk away.
I think that's actually part of it, isn't it?
100%. Because when you do that, you're demonstrating the love for the other person, but also love for yourself as well. You know it's not working for you.
Yeah.
And that's it.
As you look ahead...
Yes.
Into your crystal ball. As you look ahead...
No pressure.
Into 2026.
Yes.
What feels most alive for you?
See, I honestly feel... So I studied numerology. Another thing I'm doing.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Are you going to do my numbers?
I have to do your numbers. I will get round to it. Exactly. But it's... Yeah. 2025, honestly, I feel is part 2 of 2024. I honestly feel...
2024?
Part 2 of 2024 is 2025, and in numerology it's a 9-year, and we're wrapping things up, getting ready for the number 1 year, which is 2026, and this is in the collective level. What I think is feeling alive now, there's going to be a lot of, oh God, on a collective level, there's definitely a feeling of everything is turning a bit upside down. It does feel like chaotic. It does feel like there's instability. But in that instability, the chaos, that's where the magic is, that's where the movement is, and that's where the momentum of action is. And I think for a lot of people, it will be full steam ahead. I think a lot of people will be in a energy of, oh my God, I don't really like using this word, manifesting, of bringing what it is that they want and actually moving with that energy.
And progressing.
Progressing with themselves. And it is about the self. It's about the self, and also the collective, in terms of people will be questioning things more and searching for what it, I feel, questioning themselves more and going within and taking action in accordance to that.
Yeah.
That's my feeling.
Okay, I think now, like, just because that was like, as you look ahead to 2026, what feels most alive for you?
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, if 2026 had a theme for you, what would it be? And then, are you open to sharing a short message for the readers or listeners? I think you just covered it all.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Yeah, I think you just did. Back to the podcast editor person, thank you, Sam. At the moment.
That's it.
I think you've just done a little short reading there for our listeners.
Oh, wow.
For what 2026 is.
I didn't even.
It's about making things happen, manifestation.
100%.
It's new beginnings is the one. Why don't you do a little reading for the podcast?
I will say this. It's like, it's almost like this podcast gathers momentum. It does gather momentum. And then I feel, honestly, June, you're going to have a pause. There's going to be a break. And you're going to have a rethink and a reshuffle. I feel that you're going to need that break. And I'm sort of seeing between June to August. And when you come back to it, it won't be in this room. It will look very different. I think you're actually going to be investing in this a lot more. And yeah, I know, I'm sorry. But I'm not, again, you don't have to do any of this, by the way, but you're asked.
I'm just thinking money.
Yeah, but who's to say you're not going to be making plenty of that?
Yeah.
And who's to say the feeling is that
it's flow, isn't it?
It's flow. It's not even flow. It's flow, but I think the reason for that, for this podcast to grow, you will be investing money, but I think it will be doing well in terms of that.
Yeah, no, I've had to invest in this because I like doing it, it seems.
Yeah.
Which I'm very surprised
100%.
about.
You're good at it.
Yeah, thank you. But I'm quite surprised by that myself, and the fact that I've come back to it, because I had to have a bit of a break because of work. But then, like, now I've taken the bits that I find more challenging, because obviously I work a full week in a very challenging condition.
Yes.
And then, like, the editing, I was doing it myself.
Yeah.
But I've decided to invest that elsewhere, and I'm getting a little bit of help for marketing, even if it might be like I'm doing the uploading myself.
It feels brighter, it feels more colourful, and I feel that they're going to be more...
It's made it easier, it's made it lighter.
You're going to be doing more, when I say fun things, because we're doing fun things right now, but it feels like some of these topics are going to change slightly.
Yeah,
you is going to be evolving.
I think it's already changing in the conversations that we're having.
Yeah.
I think...
I like this conversation.
I like this conversation.
Yeah, it's good. And I think that's it. And I think you're going to... It would, I think I can see it. I can see it in a brighter sort of studio, or just the backgrounds, the colours. And
I'll let you do some filming.
Control. Oh yeah, I'd love to.
Do you like that? I'll let you do some filming.
Then you do my Instagram account, and you want me to do the filming? My God! But I can't even film myself, let alone anything else. So
no, it's all good.
You know, if anyone wants to get in touch with me to edit or to do my social media, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, okay. But actually, how can people get in touch with you for the reading?
For the
because
readings.
I will say that you are a superb reader, and you've given me some really good guidance when I've needed it. Through quite some, you've seen me through some really challenging moments.
Yes, even resistance from you. I'm not going away on holiday. 3 months later, here I am. I'm like, That does not look like London. So that was a good one. But thank you, Sanjiv. I appreciate that. And that's another thing of satisfaction to me, where you've had challenging, it's challenging for me as a reader to have an energy that you can feel is going through a lot, and you know that this person, oh my God, they really need a good message. And sometimes the message is hard to deliver. But through that, you can see how the evolution has happened and that they've energetically moved to a different place, which sometimes it's like, well, this is what I said 2 readings ago. Well, I'm glad it takes time. It takes time. Sometimes I always tell clients, the reading on the day might not make sense today. But 6 months later, when time has passed and things have happened and evolved and shifted, it makes more sense when you're listening back to it. So it goes, energy is a thing, it moves.
And it does, doesn't it? And then it's also complete personal choice about whether or not
100%.
people want to take it on board. And then obviously things change as well.
Exactly, you're always in charge of your destiny. Yeah. But if anyone does want to contact me for a reading or any shamanic work, so my website is www.susanaestrella.com.
I'll put a link on my
Susana
Instagram.
with one N, so Susana.
Don't do that, no. It's fine. I'll put a link on my, I'll put a link on the Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And also follow me on Instagram. That would be useful.
Cut that, editor.
Cut that,
editor.
Cut that.
You can't do too much, Sally.
Yeah, that's
okay. No, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me, Susana. Yes. It's been such a pleasure.
Yeah, likewise. I really had fun.
It's amazing how quickly this happened, because we were thinking it was going to be in a couple of months' time.
Oh my God, my diary is so jam-packed, honestly. It's ridiculous.
It's perfect in the new year.
Divine timing.
So thank you for your time.
No worries.
And thank you all for listening today to the You and You podcast. Yay! Please hit the like or the subscribe button or share it with a friend. Thank you so much for your time.